Welcome back to Sloth. I'm Lyndon Dixon, joined by Sajid Abid today. Sajid, how are you, man?
All good, my man. All good. Thank you for asking. How's things with you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. But yeah, good to hear. First question, I want to go right back to the beginning. How did you get into the boxing industry?
Okay. I started when I was 12. Um, I was really unfit. My asthma took a massive. Well, basically, I couldn't play any sport without running out of breath. So my uncle saw that at a young age, and he also saw that I was quite good at a multitude of sports. Because I listened, Sajid, I'm taking you to the boxing gym, and since then I've stuck with it. I just want to let you know though. Right now I had a filling put in. So my
Yeah,
face is a bit numb. So I might be slurring my words a bit. That does happen. I'm not drunk. I'm just, yeah.
no, it's all right. But so you say your uncle helped get you into it because you was unfit, but when did you know that it was boxing for you? Was it love at first sight, or like when did you know, right, this is it, I'm doing boxing?
You know what? I but it took a few tries at it for me to realize, like, you know what, this is my thing.
Yeah,
But obviously when you're young, 12, getting hit in the face constantly, you kind of shy away from that.
yeah.
But it helped me develop as a person. Help me with my confidence, not just
Mm.
physically but mentally. So you know what I did notice, at the moment I stopped training, the rest of my sports started dropping as well. And so at that point, I kind of got myself in the habit of training, and like I said, I just fell in love with it.
Yeah. So when did you start taking it seriously in terms of like going into the amateurs and stuff like that?
Oh, you know what? So I started when I was 12, but I really started taking it seriously at about 18, 19.
Yeah.
I had my first amateur fight at 18, and funny enough, that's it. I just had one amateur fight, trained for a couple of years, and then turned pro at 20. Obviously, looking back, I would have stayed in the amateurs as long as possible, but can't really cry over spilt milk now, can you?
Yeah. So you turned pro at Pride Park, and like you say, you didn't have much amateur experience, so it was sort of, I guess you didn't really know what you was expected. So walk me through, what was that night like for you?
But night was crazy, my pro debut couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah.
Obviously, my hometown at Derby, Pride Park Stadium. I had, the likes of Tyson Fury walking me out, Hughie Fury, Peter Fury. And at the time, there's a pretty well-known heavyweight boxer, Eddie Chambers, I think his name was,
Yeah, yeah.
something along those lines. But he's from America, and they all walked me out to my fight. And you know what? For that as a debut, couldn't have topped it. So, as you can imagine, everything that I imagined professional boxing to be to begin with, it was on that night.
You mentioned Tyson Fury. What was that character like to be around on a night like that? Like, has he changed much now?
No, he's you know what? He's very talkative. I'll tell you that. I remember one point where um, I'm nervous, so I've gone to the toilet, right, trying to get away from everyone, and
Yeah.
then he's followed me. I'm in a cubicle, and he's there just trying to talk to me whilst I'm in a cubicle. I'm like, mate, I'm nervous as fuck right now. I need to piss. Just kind of leave me to it. But no, he was a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
So now you're 14-1. Fast forward a few years. But I just want to talk
12 and 1, 12 and 1.
12-1, sorry, 12-1.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just want
Or
to
was it
talk
11 and
about
1? Mate, it's 11 and 1. I,
11 and
I
1.
forgot my own record. 11 and 1, yeah, yeah. I got my 13th fight, pro fight coming, yeah, in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, November.
I promise you, I know what I'm doing in life. I know I sound like I don't, but I know what I'm doing.
But I just want to talk about that one loss for the minute because you was against, just looking on BoxRec, you was against a pretty game guy, 5-0.
Ooh, go
He
for it.
obviously came to win. What was that night like for you, and how have you overcame, a loss early on in your career?
Oh man, it was crazy. It was one of those opportunities we thought we'd have to take. So basically, Rodrigo was supposed to fight someone else,
Hmm.
but his opponent dropped out, and so I was kind of brought in as a last minute replacement. So I think at the time I had about 4 weeks to do, excuse me, to whatever training and whatever research I can on him before the fight. And yeah, so the loss, obviously, as a professional, the first time you take a loss, it kind of teaches you a lot about yourself. A lot of people, once they take their first loss, they tend to just leave boxing, pursue something else, or they use it as a drive to come back stronger. And that's what I like to think I've done. It helps having good people around me. And they played a massive factor in me overcoming that loss and, getting back into boxing with a much, much fresher, stronger mind frame.
Well, you've definitely moved on from that in a positive way. You won last time out against Tom Answorth. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, at York Hall. So, what was it like to get that win? And secondly, what was it like to fight at York Hall, like from a fighter's perspective?
You know what? I fought in York Hall back in 2017 against Lee Hallett. Oh mate, that guy is so tricky. It's unreal. Even now, he's giving people issues, and it just makes me think like, you know what? He's such a talented fighter. I've got to give him props whenever I mention him. But back then, you can feel. How can I put it? Once you're there, obviously it's considered the home of British boxing, right?
Yeah.
You're around people who know their boxing. So every person there is there to appreciate boxing.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a good feeling. And the fact that I managed to put myself in a position where I'm headlining a show in York Hall, I can kind of tick something off my list. So I'm pretty happy with that. And it's a 10-round title eliminator. So yeah, not a bad job.
Yeah, exactly. But so you mentioned earlier on you're fighting in November. I just want to know like how camp's been, how sparring's been for that one.
I think the easiest way to put it is if they were to tell me you're fighting next week, Saj, I'm ready. I'm ready already. I've been ready for the past couple of weeks. More so to stuff my goddamn face. That's what I'm ready for. Mate, honestly, I can't wait. That's all I've been thinking. That's all that's getting me through this. But the training camp's been really good. So, in addition to my usual team, we've introduced this nutritionist, and he is making a massive difference. Because when I obviously the first time I ever fought at super light was my last fight, whereas before that I was like a super welter, but not someone who was taking the weight too seriously. I can make welterweight relatively easy, like without even having to put much of effort in. Excuse me. And so we figured super lightweight is the way to go. So the first fight against Tom was all trial and error. Like we were just kind of like, to an extent, starving myself to get down to weight. But on the day of the fight, in fact, no, I'll tell you something. On the weigh-in, when I looked at Tom, I was thinking, mate, you look tiny. I'm going to come in like an absolute monster compared to you. Mate, next day, I look at him and I'm thinking, what the hell is happening here? He looks like he's eaten Tom.
Yeah.
And I'm there thinking, yeah, like, yo, I put myself in a situation. So I managed to refuel up to about 68 kilograms or something like that. But he managed to get well over 72, I think he was saying. So I've given away about 4 or 5 kilograms.
Wow.
And it made sense because every time he was leaning on me, I was thinking, why the hell am I getting drained? Mate, I'm doing 10 round spars, easy, still fresh as hell. But when this guy's on me, I feel knackered. So after that fight, we kind of had to make sure we introduced a nutritionist, and he's been doing amazing. Like, I'm gonna this will be the best shape I'll ever be for a fight. So I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for it.
Well, that brings me on to my final question, mate. The domestic scene right now is absolutely stacked in your division. But I just want to hear from you. Where do you see yourself
Tell me about it.
this time next year? What has Saj done?
Winning the English. I'm going to win the English. This time next year, I'll be holding a nice flat belt. I'll be taking that everywhere I go to. I'll be at the local takeaway, ordering my doner kebab with my belt there to let them know that this is a doner kebab for a champion. So English champion this time next year.
Well, that's the perfect way to end it, mate. Thanks for your time today, and yeah, see you again
No
next time.
worries, buddy. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Take care.